Welcome to the Trinity Stamps page. I'm Cassie. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Let's see who's here. Hello, Melissa. Hi, Carol. Yes, I had a great trip. It was very inspiring. I'm exhausted from it, but it was so great. It was just wonderful. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get started. As I said on the thing, we're going to be doing the You've Goat Mail. It's the stamp set, I Goat You Babe. And I think if you've been following Trinity Stamps on their Facebook page or blog or anything, there have been some really fun things done with this stamp set. It's so, so cute. So I wanted to use the stamp set with the matching dies. I also wanted to use this paper pad. You know I love this paper pad. I've been using this. Hi, Mary. Well, hopefully it will be fun because we're going to make a 4-bar. I'm slightly obsessed with them lately. So I've got this. This is the Autumn Rainbow paper pad. I love it. I love these rich colors. We're also going to be using this stencil. This is an older stencil. It's called Superstar, and it's 2 pieces, but great stencil. We're going to be using this one, which is another older one. This is the die. This is the Great Outdoors Borders and Builders, a fantastic one. And then the brand new 4-bar envelope builder. We're going to be using that along with some of the pieces in there. And then I've got some embellishments, so we'll get in that. But let me pull out what I did or what I've got going on. Let's start on our background first. So here I have a piece of watercolor cardstock. I went ahead and cut this out using not the biggest one, but the second biggest one. And if you're new to 4-bar cards are, when they're closed, they're 3.5 inches by 5 inches. So it makes a really nice little note card to give, or I've kind of been really enjoying them because I don't always have tons to say, but I do want to send a note often. And so these I think are just great for that. So it's got, this die has 3 dies in it that will cut out layers. And that biggest one will be the size of the full 4-bar. So it'll be 3.5 inches by 5 inches. But what I love about it, and I say this every time, is that it cuts out that, or it embosses a really nice edge. And I just love that. So let's put this off to the side. And let's start working on that background. And we'll pull in those pieces as we need them. So what has everybody been up to? I would love to hear it. I've missed y'all. Let's just say that. I have missed y'all. And hopefully we didn't lose you. Somebody tried to FaceTime, so hopefully we did not lose you. Shoot. Are we good? I think we're still on. Yes. Okay, we're still on. Sorry about that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stencil, and this is a 2-piece stencil. I am going to, how do I want that to be? I think I kind of want it to be like this. So I'm going to just tack that on. And then we'll just use some of this mint tape to hold it in place. And then I'm going to pull in just one of my distress inks. This is the Broken China. Oh, good. Oh, good, Melissa. Yay. All right. You've been designing some cards. Oh, on your scan and cut. Okay. Yep. Still looking for one, honestly. Keeping an eye out for a used one. So we'll see what happens. All right. But I do have something started for that, so I'm excited. I'm going to go kind of heavy-handed on these stars. There is a reason for that. and I'll talk about it as we go. But I'm going to go a little bit heavy-handed. We're going to get our arm workout in. I'm using my blender buddy. And there we go. Okay, so what I like about these two-step stencils, I can't talk, is that you can kind of see the embossed edging of the previous. So I'm going to just hold this up and line those up over the top, which is really easy to do. And then we'll stick this back down. And again, I'm going to go heavy-handed. I'm going to just use the same color. This stencil is designed so that if you wanted to use other colors, you absolutely could. But we're going to stick with the same one because I'm building a scene. I just want to have a little interest on that background. So that is why I've brought in a stencil. I think stencils are a super fun way to add a lot of interest to a background without, I don't feel like a whole lot of effort, honestly. So this cardstock is some watercolor cardstock. It's some Strathmore 140 pound. And the reason I chose watercolor cardstock is because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a bunch of splatter or water effect on the back. I just wasn't sure. So let me pull that back. And that's what we're going to have. And then this is where I wanted to, let's pull that off because I don't need it. I'm going to do a little bit more blending, but I'm going to go light-handed with it. And I'm using the same color. But Nina, I think, would work fine, especially if you're not planning to do like a lot of water. And that would handle some splatter too, but, and not like I was planning to use a lot of water or anything. But I did want the possibility of that. Kind of flying by the seat of my pants like I usually do. I love stencils, Mary. I don't know. I just feel like you can do so much with them and it's just fun. Okay, so I think I'm good with that. I'm good with that background now. Let me put this away. And I'm going to wipe up my background or my glass mat. Sometimes I forget to do that and then I end up with color all over everything. So now I'm going to do a little bit of spritzing. This is where I was talking about adding some water. I don't know if that's going to change things a whole lot, but since I used a reactive ink, that's what we're going for. And then I'll just kind of wipe that up. Didn't do a ton, but it does soften it a little bit. So now I'll bring in some more splatter because why not? And I'll just put a little bit in here. And we all have paints like this. I know we do. So I didn't link this stuff down below, but I did link pretty much everything else. Because like I said, this was a fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for the background. And now that I'm seeing it, I'm loving it. Yeah. You have the hardest time blending on the Nina. I know it's everyone's holy grail. You know, honestly, Melissa, I don't really blend on the Nina. I don't, it's not my preference for blending. If you're really wanting like a beautiful smooth blend, I suggest using Bristle Smooth, and it does make a difference which brand because I've tried other brands and I didn't really like them. But I would suggest if you want a really smooth blend, Bristol Smooth by Strathmore is really good for that. And depending, of course, and every ink is different. So that's another thing to consider when you are blending. All right, so here's our background. I like it. I'm going to actually let this dry a little bit. And while I'm letting that dry, we're going to move on to doing some coloring. So I, always try to prep ahead of time for y'all so you're not here watching me do all the die cutting and all the stamping. I stamped all of these out. Yes, isn't that great, Melissa? Yeah, I hear you. A lot of people just love Nina for blending, but I don't. It's not my preference. So that's why I'll grab things like watercolor cardstock because I really like to play around with that. And if it doesn't turn out the way I like it, you can always add water. So I think that's why I like it. I went ahead and stamped out all of my images that I wanted. Most of the examples that I think you've seen have used both of the goats, but this time I just wanted to use one of the goats. So I've got one of the goats, we've got a couple pairs of socks, and we've got the pair of boxers, the little heart, and we've got several of the pins. And these are already die cut out, so you don't have to watch me do that. I just have them held in place with some mint tape. And then I grabbed some various Copic markers. We're going to use Copics today, and let's get to coloring. So I'm going to use some E23 and E57 for our little guy. Do I use Express It for blending? I actually don't, Carol, but I think it would work really well for it because it is such a smooth cardstock. The reason I don't use it is because it is a little bit pricier, and I usually just use it for my Copic coloring. But I have been known to do that if it's sitting there and I'm feeling a little lazy, too lazy to go get stuff. Oh, yes, Melissa, I would love to know how that works. So keep me posted on that. Send me a message on that. Thanks, Mary. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's get started coloring it up. I only picked a couple of colors for her. She's so cute. Oh, and I went right over her eye. Thank goodness for white gel pens. So I went right over her eye, covering up the white. That's okay. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Yeah. It was tough to be away last week. I didn't get to do any crafting while I was there. I had brought a couple of things to do, but we were busy from the moment we got up, which was really early, until bedtime. And by the time we got home anyway, I was so exhausted, like, because I'm just not used to that much brain activity, I guess, that I was toast. I was toast. So, all right, let's add. And then I'm going to add a little bit of shadowing and shading down here, and we'll blend that out. But so yeah, I didn't get to do any crafting last week. It's sad, especially when you're so used to it like I am. I mean, I craft every day. Even if it isn't paper crafting, it is some sort of crafting. So that was tough, I tell ya. Is anybody working on any major big projects? We're just going to go with some Y28 for, for our little pins. You know, it's funny, when I first saw the set, I was like, what are those? What is that stamp? And then I realized it's to hold it up on a clothesline. So that's why I have as many as I do. All right, for the socks. All right, we're going to bring in some R32 and R24. Let's put down our color. And then we'll just add a little bit of red. And then for the socks, I just think that's so cute, little socks. And then we'll use this pink on her nose. And whoops, blend this out a little. There we go. All right, so I'm happy with that. And that's pretty much all the coloring I was going to do. So let's pull ourselves back out here. And now we're going to start building. So I've got the, well, actually, let me fix her eye first. Is this my white gel pen? I believe it is. I guess we'll find out. Let me fix her eye because I messed that up. We'll do it on both. Boop. Okay, that's better. So you can fix it. I know she did. Boy, that woman is talented. I tell you what, she is so inspiring. Hey Kate, how's it going? Glad you could join us. All right, so here's our background, and now let me pull in some of the other pieces that I... All right, so using this paper pad, I pulled out one of the greens. It's the lighter green. And I cut out the grass, and I cut out one of the treetops. Those could be used as clouds too. And then using some white, I cut out the fence. So we've got our fence. All right. Yeah, I just love this set. It's just such a cute set. So those are the pieces that using this die set. This is the Great Outdoors Borders and Builders. I know, right? Kate, I'm telling you, that paper pad has me all pitter-patter. Okay, so I don't think I have enough to do 2 rows of this. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of glue down on the bottom. And we're going to stick this down. I'm not going to add anything to it. I mean, if you really want to add some texture and stuff to it, you could do some ink blending on your grass and get that going. Unfortunately, it does cover up part of that embossed edge that I really like. You could have waited to do that, but I decided not to. It is a slimline paper pad. It is 9 by 4 inches, so that is what makes it so great, really. And then, okay, so I only put glue at the bottom. I probably should have put this down first. Yeah, I think I can shimmy that in there. I can, because I only put glue at the bottom. But it still would have been better probably to put our fence down first. Okay, so we're gonna just shimmy it in there. I don't know how many of these I really need, so we're just gonna put some glue on, call it good. Yes. And I like these slimline dies like this because, yeah, absolutely, Kate. They're so good for all sizes, really. So, you know, this was a slimline die, and here I am pulling it in for a 4-bar. So I think that's great. Okay, so that's about as straight as I can get it, which I think is good. It's fine. Maybe it's a little off. That's okay. All right. Happy. So now I'm going to snip off the excess. Just flipping this over. Got a little bit from here. Cut that down. Okay. And before I attach down the tree, I only did one because I'm going to use it on both sides. We are going to make a clothesline. So I've just got some twine. Any twine will do. I've had this for probably a million years. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it longer because I'm not exactly sure how far I need that to go. And then I'm going to put a little bit of score tape on the back so I can hold this in place. Maybe. There we go. So I'll put it on both sides at the top. Yeah, that was the top. I wasn't sure at first. I was like, oh no, I sure hope that was the top. Okay, and then I'm thinking, so if I put up my little goat, let's take her out of there, and I set her there, the clothes need to be able to kind of, let's see. I think that's good. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, there we go. So we've got our little clothesline at the top. And I am going to go ahead and put some tape over the top of that again, just over the tape I already put down. It'll help adhere it to the base when we're ready to do that. And actually, we're not moving to Kansas City. We are moving to Georgia, and they've told us that we're, I think, on the list already for a house, but I don't know. We may have to live in our trailer for a couple of weeks. Hopefully not, but you never know. That's just kind of how it is when it's military. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tree so that we know that our clothesline is kind of attached to a tree, and I am going to just cut this down. But we were in Kansas City for a kind of, what they call it is a pre-command brief, so that he is ready and I'm ready for whatever it is that the Army throws at us, I guess. Okay, so then I may use some foam tape or some foam squares. I've got some 3D foam squares. Base housing, yep, Melissa, that is what we are probably going to have, which will work out just fine. Make it a little bit easier. Okay, and yeah, I'm kind of going off the edge a little, but I'm totally okay with that. So then I'll just flip it over and I can cut off the excess again. And we'll do the same thing over here. I think I'm going to cut this one in half though. There we go. There we go. Making a mess, but that's part of the fun for me. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that down over the top. And once again, flip it over. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our cute little scene started. She's going to be standing here. I'm probably going to prop her up on some foam tape as well, but then I wasn't sure how many pieces I really wanted, so I'm going to have some socks hanging. I'll probably have some socks hanging behind her as well. And then the little pants will be in the center. Okay, so let's start sticking stuff down. So I know everybody was talking about 4-bar being something that was so new to them. Is this something that you guys have been trying since you've been seeing a little bit more of it? Or are we still, nope. In fact, what is your favorite size of card to make? Or do you have a favorite? Or are you just like, I'll do them all. I don't care. Because I kind of feel like that's how I am right now. I will make any card. Love it. Okay, and then we need our little, she's going to hold the heart. So I'm going to put that in her hand. Stick that down like this. She's holding the heart. And then for each of these, I'm going to probably have to use my pickup stick because they're small. There we go. And I'm just putting dots of glue on where I think I want them to go. You like okay, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still stuck on A2. I'm still sort of new to card making. I don't think that you can be, you're not stuck, you're good. And that makes perfect sense. A2 cards are, well, really, if you think about it, A2 can be a little bit easier simply because you can make 2 cards out of 1 piece of cardstock. And so it's a lot less having to think about measurements. At least that's how I feel about it. And Melissa, you like 5x7, but I hate all that waste it creates with cardstock. Yeah, so I think that's part of my issue as well, is the waste, which is why I sometimes buy bases. I already buy my card bases ready to go, so I don't have to cut that up. You like them all any size, Mary? And you pretty much stick with A2, Carol? Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about any of the cards that most of us are showing you is that you can do them any size. You know, that what you see here, you can adapt, which I think is great. All right, let's cut this one in half too. And I'm going to need a sentiment, huh? Makes sense. So there, actually, I'm going to cut this down even more. I just don't want that heart kind of floating in the wind. Save that for another day. But yeah, I'll make anything. There we go. Okay, so now we need our sentiment. So she's just kind of standing there, super cute like. And where's the stamp set? Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to use the You've Goat Mail, hence the title of our card or our video. And let me pull out, I have a scrap of some of this black that I just love. And then we are going to heat emboss it. I figured black would be good because it'll stand out. And, whoops, wrong drawer. go. And I do like that Trinity Stamps has the matching die for these. So I'm going to grab my tweezers though, because I will burn myself. It's true. There we go. Okay, so give me a second. I'm going to heat set this. And actually, while we have this out, I don't want the white for this next bit. I'm going to use some Ink on 3 Strawberry Champagne, which is a really beautiful rose gold. And what I wanted to do was cut out some of the hearts from the A2. You'll see why. So I'm just pressing this into my Juicy embossing embossing ink. And I'm going to use a coffee filter. And then we'll pull in this Strawberry Champagne. I wish they'd get more of those powder tools. Yeah, it's frustrating. I bet they wish they had them too, for sure. And the reason I'm surprised I actually was able to get it. It worked out. So pretty. Okay, don't burn yourself. See, I almost did it. Almost burned myself. Where the tweezers come in handy. All right, let's pick up our mess before I spill it everywhere. Since we're live, it would most likely happen now. Okay. And then here's where I'll bring in those dies. So now I'm going to bring in the matching die that goes along with our sentiment. Kind of get stuff out of the way for y'all, which is here. How do you keep your embossing ink pads so clean? Oh, Kate, this is my third one. I actually have two others. One that I was like, I can't even show that on screen anymore. It's, yeah, no, it's bad. So don't feel bad about that. Don't feel bad about that at all. Because mine actually isn't that clean. I always screw up which one is. So I kind of have to play around with these. Sometimes they look like one is it. Let me see what other. Choose you. And you goat mail. Okay. I think this is not the one. I think that's not the one. This one's the one. There we go. All right. So once again, put that down. You use wooden clothespins when you heat emboss. Oh, that's a great idea, Carol. That is. No, Kate, you're not alone. Always sprinkle your powder on a separate piece of paper so you don't contaminate your embossing ink. Yes. Ask you how you know. Girl, I have done it too. And of course it was a hot pink that I was using. Oh my gosh. I was like, well, that's ruined because you can't get it off. Once it's on there, it's on there. And yes, clothespin, great idea. Okay. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring in these little hearts. I don't know where exactly I'll use them, but I want them. So pull those in. And tack those down. All right, and then we're going to run this through our die cutting machine real quick. So I'll be off camera for a second. The wood doesn't conduct heat like a metal tweet. Oh, that's such, yeah, makes sense, Melissa. Science. So now it's all stuck right here. Let me pull those off of my mat. I just think they're so pretty, and It's this beautiful rose gold. So let me hold those up to the camera so you can see. I don't know, you probably can't even see, but they have this beautiful like metallic look to them. It's so pretty. All right, don't want to lose our die, so I'm going to set that up here. And here's our sentiment that cut out perfectly. Don't want to lose any of our dies. I have done that. How many of you have had to search through the garbage for a die? Because I have. Okay, so now let's put our sentiment on there. I think we're just going to put it down here. You've goat mail. I'm going to glue it down rather than use foam tape. Although that would work too. And then I don't know where I want to put the little hearts. Maybe I don't want to put the little hearts. Maybe I'll put some on the inside is what I'll do. I don't know. You've goat mail. Oh, that's so cute. All right. So now I also want to do a little bit, see, it's a small space, but I want to have a little bit of embellishment. So I'm going to grab in, these are the Icy Aqua. I think I dumped one on there already. Melissa. They are pretty, Mary. I think they're so pretty. Also teeny tiny stamps. Yes, there are some that are gone forever. Especially with all the moves I've done. They're gone. They're lost. There's no finding those. Okay. So let's put a few of these down. Probably grab smaller ones. I just figured these would match with the background and still add a little bit of bling. But not, let's add you over here. Maybe down here. And there's some smaller ones, so I just have so much fun with baubles and things. I don't know why. Not like there isn't enough going on this card. I just wanted some. That's probably too many. I'm always bad with this, but it is what it is, so we're going with it. All right. There we go. Just add a little bit of interest to the background. And yes, these blend in pretty well with what's already going on. But that's, I think, why I liked this color. So it just adds a little something. They do, Melissa. I love their embellishments. I'm such a big fan. Okay, so I probably shouldn't have done that before doing the base, but here we are. Here we are. All right, let that dry a few seconds. And this was cut down to 5 by 7 inches. So now I'm just going to score it at 3.5 inches. So I just took an A2 size and cut it down to 5 by 7. All right, so there is our base. And that's going to fit on there and leave a nice little white border. I like that. And then, do I want to add? Maybe I'll add some of the grass since I have a little piece left over. And then I can add some of the hearts. Or does that just look silly because it doesn't fill? I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. Why not? You know I got to put something on the inside. I love putting something on the inside. Just kind of trying to center that up a little bit. Okay, and then I'll take the hearts and I'll put the hearts on the inside as well. So that's where our hearts will go. Oh, how fun. Okay. And then one more over here. But that'll leave plenty of room to write to the recipient. Okay, so there's our inside. Now let's do our outside, because guess what? I still want to make an envelope. Thankfully, I already have it cut out, so we're good to go. Grass with hearts. All right, thank you, Mary. Okay, here we go. Again, little white border. Oh, I think that's so fun. Okay, so there is the card. Let's move this stuff off to the side. Close up the embellishments so we don't dump them everywhere. Not lose the die, the little heart die. And then here is what I have for the envelope. So again, this comes from, here we go, I can add this. I think I did lose a die. It's got to be here somewhere. All right, not going to worry about it because we'll find it. But this one comes from the builder. So all you need is one of these and you need two of these pieces. And that's what I did. Cut them out of some specialty cardstock that I had. And it does do the embossed lines. So I'm just going to fold those on those embossed lines. And then really, they do, Mary. Hi, Sylvia. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And this is why I wanted to do the strawberry champagne hearts, because of the paper that I had found in my stash. I love it when you go through your stash and you're just like, look at that, new stuff. I mean, it's not new. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's been sitting there a minute, so. Okay, so in order to put this together, super easy peasy. And I highly suggest using a very strong adhesive. I say this every time, but it does make a difference. So I wouldn't just use like score tape or something like that. I would use, if you're going to use score tape, also use liquid glue on top of that. I know, aren't they super shiny? And I figure when I put this one through the mail, because this can go through the mail just fine, I will use like address labels is what I will use. Okay. Yep, let that dry for a few seconds. Yes, I just love these little shiny hearts. They're so fun. Okay, and then we'll glue this piece together. I typically like to put a little line on here, right along that edge, and then right along this edge. Just a very thin line, I'm talking, just to ensure that it is going to stay together. And then while that's drying, we'll do the bottom. There we go. Thanks, Carol. I just love it. Check that out. Isn't that fun? Woo. I love all those fun shiny papers. That's why I love making my own envelopes too, right? Okay, so that's good. And then this baby will fit in there just fine. Well, I did add some dimension to it with embellishments and things, but so, you know, when you put it in there, be a little bit careful, but check it out. She goes in there just fine. I love it. I think it's so fun. So there you have it. There's our card for today. I hope you like it, because I like it. I love it. Everything I used is linked down. Thank you, Mary. Everything I used is linked down in the description box down below. So if there's anything that you're like, gotta have it, go grab it. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with me today. There's going to be some more lives, I believe, this week. We've got Linnea and we've got Carrie doing them, Facebook and on Instagram. So make sure you go and like all those. Thanks, Kate. Thank you, Melissa. I'm so glad y'all came and hung out. Thank you, Mary. And I hope that you guys have a great day. Go off, be amazingly creative like I know that you are and know how loved you are. And I'll see you live again in a couple weeks here on the Trinity Stamps channel. All right, everybody. Bye.